Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and welcome to my The Bad Batch Season 3 episodes, both 6 and 7 review/breakdown video. We, of course, are going to go ahead and hop right on into it. Before we do, though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we're discussing and covering all types of Star Wars-related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button today. So, right off the bat, clear and cut, it should go without saying, obviously spoilers are ahead for the newest episodes of The Bad Batch, but for those of you that may be looking for a non-spoiler review, I think my initial thoughts and reactions to that overall, by which is quite honestly episode 5, looking back on it and thinking back on it, it felt like a satisfying conclusion. They honestly could have ended the show right there and then at the end of season 3, episode 5. The main squad, The Bad Batch, they kind of seem to have come to terms with things and we're kind of like just living life safe and sound, but boy, do these 2 new episodes change that all around, and they're really quite incredible and amazing, and there's so much more to be told, and there's so much more of a story. I love the direction, the new direction that this show is taking for its 3rd and final season. So that they're all being said, we have now reached the mid-season point for The Bad Batch Season 3, and its new titles, Episode 7 and 6, under the titles Infiltration and Extraction, respectively. Sure, it did feel like a mid-season storyline. Not only did it bring back several familiar faces while tying in the first half of Season 3 thus far, giving us a bit of a recap and kind of severing those ties and concluding everything that we saw already from those first 5 episodes, as I had mentioned, but it also clearly lays out the rest of that groundwork for what the rest of the show is going to offer, with Captain Rex charging Hunter with a very specific mission in Episode 6. And even more so by what we learn by the end of Episode 7. The main new goal is to find out why Omega herself and her blood is so special and important to the Empire. The Bad Batch has been incredibly solid in its final salvo right out the gate. This is me basically going, this homemade milk chocolate isn't as rich as the homemade fudge. It's all still chocolate at the end of the day, and delicious. We just prefer that the other weeks and the other episodes may have a little bit more over than these new 2 episodes. Nonetheless, these episodes were still action-packed and had lots to do with the characters. These episodes, Infiltration and Extraction, felt like very needed episodes at that clearly set up the show's finale and the rest of the groundwork, as I had mentioned, for what the rest of this, not just season, but the rest of the show is going to offer. It addressed things that needed to be discussed with Crosshair while building more mysterious with the Shadow Clone Troopers. We all have our fair thoughts and opinions and theories on those, so let me know what you guys all think in the comments down below. Right at the get-go, I'm going to say it. I think that both Tech and Commander Cody, those are theories that I've been hearing and seeing a lot of you fans out there posting around and within the Star Wars community, by which specifically that Tech is going to become one of these Shadow Clone Troopers. As for Commander Cody, though, however, I haven't heard a lot on his character and for what actually may have happened with him since we last saw him at the Bad Batch Season 2. So from there, we have to kind of also get some tie-ups with his character as well. Other than that, I do think that Season 3 has kind of touched base on just about most to all of the different characters and plot points that we've seen throughout the entirety of this show. Of course, there's the exceptions of other characters that are yet to appear that we've clearly seen in the trailer, like Cad Bane, Fennec Shand, also Asajj Ventress, but those are all going to be characters that we're going to be seeing sooner than later. The other callbacks to Ryo Chuchi and Avi Sign were quite amazing as well. It's always a great time to see Captain Rex. However, it felt like these chess pieces were forcibly pushed around on a board to set up the back half of the season. We thought that the previous weeks found more organic ways of telling their story, as that's kind of where things were left off though, however, from The Bad Batch Season 2. The main question, something that I've been posing in a lot of our Bad Batch videos here on the channel, is that, okay, well that's great and dandy for what these first 5 episodes did for the show itself. The main question, and what we were all looking forward to seeing for these new 2 episodes, for Season 3, Episodes 6 and 7, was what was going to be that new turning point or that new plot point that we would see the squad take take, and I quite honestly love it. In this video, I should also mind you guys that we are taking a quick read from DorksideOfTheForce.com. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. They don't like a lot of the stuff that went on with these 2 new episodes, and comparing it and contrasting it to the first 5 episodes, they didn't think that it moved as organically. It's kind of what they had thought. They thought that it felt more forcible in that sense, pun intended. But they also do clear up that this is a minor critique, and that these 2 episodes really are quite stellar. Watching George Lucas's final legacy with the Clone Wars era comes to a close has been such a delight. We adore the choice of Captain Rex having his base of operations at the Bo Amar Monastery on the planet of Teth. This might seem random, but it's where one of the major battles of the Clone Wars theatrical film actually took place. This planet is the first time that Rex had an appearance, also with, within Star Wars and the Clone Wars theatrical film. As the Bad Batch brings those stories to an end, it's quite a fantastic thing and a touch to give this nod to the beginning to where this story has started. This also is where Asajj Ventress had first arrived in the show, The Clone Wars, which is once again a nice tie-in for her arrival that we're going to be seeing unfold in a little bit of later episodes. These full circle kind of things for storytelling have been the biggest strengths of this season. At the same time, so much groundwork is being laid down for the other stories to bring those full circle and tie those in as well, but it's what's needed. We're seeing how Wolffe is primed to leave for the Empire for where he is in Star Wars Rebels as well. I love that little bit of a nod, and that was something that a lot of people were looking forward to. The earliest seeds of the Rebel Alliance are being planted within the scenes between Chuchi and Sai as well. Separatists were known to make up a big chunk of the rebellion, actually. And fun fact, Cassian Andor was a Separatist and threw rocks at clone troopers as a kid. We see it throughout the Andor show. Then, of course, the big story ties in with the Mandalorian as well, to explain that somehow Palpatine returned line in The Rise of Skywalker. Nonetheless, the Bad Batch is becoming one of the most vital storylines within all of the Star Wars franchise, connecting the Republic time period to the rest of a galaxy far, far away. So, why not make this one full episode? Might be a bit of a question that some people are posing out there. I think that Star Wars kind of tends to do this a lot. Like, they kind of make, all these different separate episodes and then kind of take a look at it, and it kind of makes sense to maybe pose these different episodes together. They just would flow together a little bit more better. Also for a release schedule, marketing and promoting as well. Live action Star Wars TV shows have various episode lengths ranging from 25 minutes to even an hour. Then animated shows like Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars Resistance were still on television. It made sense for those shows to follow a 22-minute format, as they had to follow the cable rules. However, since that big move to the streaming world, and with Disney Plus now, animated Star Wars shows like The Clone Wars Season 7 and The Bad Batch still follow this pattern. It's just nature. Yes, the episode lengths have more variation, ranging from 22 to 30 minutes long sometimes. Still, why not let the title of Infiltration or Episode 6 and Episode 7, Extraction, be one long 53-minute episode, as it was all one ongoing story? It's jarring to have them split up this way, breaking up the momentum of the first episode. If this was going to be the case from the get-go, I honestly would have preferred to have one episode this week and save the next one for the next week. I think it would have created a lot of a stir-up within the community and a lot more discussions going on. I love that kind of thing. It kind of is one of my biggest complaints within Star Wars as of right now, is kind of the way that they release things, having these multi-episode releases. That goes also for the finales and these mid-season points as well. I'm just not a big fan of it. For the premieres, though, those first couple of episodes, I can get behind that and understand that, but when you hit that 3-episode mark, they're kind of pushing it. At that point, being honest with you guys, it feels more like homework rather than being able to enjoy 3 new episodes of maybe one of your favorite shows. Same thing goes for the Andor Season 1. I remember that, 2 years now ago? Man, that was a long time ago. But I remember plummeting through that. It was homework, it really felt like it, but it was worth it at the end of the day. It was a good story, but having those kind of episodes that are forcibly needing to have each other, all in one go, those I just am not the biggest fan of. Anyway, continuing on and moving on here. Dork Side of the Force in their article has to say that we're sure that the straightforward explanation has something to do with the budget, because that's often the case. But with episodes like these 2, or a big spectacle event like the 4 episode of Sage of Mandalore with the Clone Wars, let them bring one long entry, or maybe chop it up and let it have those weekly episodes to keep the community alive and talking about it. Again, the nitpicking, because the Bad Batch continues to be excelling and stellar, and there's nothing really else to talk about or maybe complain about, really. It's all built on the groundwork of the Clone Wars animated show, and exactly ties in with every era on-screen Star Wars storytelling. I have a really good feeling for the back half of Season 3, the third and final season of The Bad Batch. One of my biggest questions out there for the time being is if we're going to see this clone rebellion build off and branch off. We're definitely going to see it expand more. They're going to have to replenish their troops that have fallen with these last 2 episodes, but seeing people join that aren't necessarily clones of this, clone rebellion, part of this clone pocket, or as they even name drop it into these new episodes, a rebel cell, as they're referred to later in the timeline throughout the comics and novels, also in Andor. I'm very curious to see how that all unfolds as well, and I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.